Paula Harris music. All right, musician. We know Trump is going to win, just like in 2020. God bless you. You're absolutely right. How will we prevent Dems cheating again? Ballot harvesting is great, but what about the machine? I'm with you, Paula. I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. I really don't. Patriots have to take over the polls. So that's Steve Bannon's precinct strategy. So we have to be in every precinct the night of that election, especially, the ones that were compromised on in November. And we can, I just don't know what we do with the actual machines. I literally have no idea. Now, Paul, I may be wrong. So don't, for me, it's an open question. So I'm not dogmatic on it, but it does seem to me that where we really failed in 2022 was in the ballot harvesting. It wasn't in the machines. The machines weren't so much an issue. It was the ballot harvesting. And if we use the SoCal ballot harvesting strategy, I think we're gonna crush it. If we go to evangelical churches that vote 80% Republican, but they only have about 50% turnout. Well, if you go directly to those 80% Republican vote harvestings and you harvest their vote so that the turnout is double that, right? 100% or 90% or something like that. That's how Republicans are winning in Democrat +4 districts in Southern California, because they're going to evangelical churches and they're finding votes that Democrats just can't find or manufacture, for that matter. And we're going to have to win outside the margin of error. And again, keep in mind too, I know they got away with it in 2020, but generally speaking, fraud involves glaring voting discrepancies. So, for example, the person who wins both Florida and Ohio has won every single election since 1864, if I recall, for the exception of 1960, the last time it was stolen. And of course, Trump crushed it in Florida and Ohio. So you have some bellwethers that you can cross tab. But again, it didn't help in 2020, and it doesn't. All the election fortification on our integrity fortification means nothing if we don't have the people in place to enforce it, like what we're seeing right now in Georgia. The feckless, disgusting rhinos in charge of the Florida Republican Party. They are beyond disgusting. If you're in Georgia, get rid of every single one of them. They're horrific. So in the end, what we have to do is we have to do what they did behind the Berlin Wall. We have to just keep pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing until it finally falls. That's what we have to do. Well, we know constitutional carry is sweeping the nation. Millions of Americans, and even you courageous patriots out there, you Turley talkers, you're still stuck in blue or weak red states restricting your constitutional right to bear arms. Well, don't worry, gang. Countrywide concealed is probably the quickest way to get carrying legally in the majority of the United States. That's right. You won't just be able to carry in your state, but in 84% of the whole of the US of A. It's as quick as watching a video and taking a quiz, and thanks to Countrywide Concealed, your family is that much safer from a myriad of threats no matter where you go. Getting a concealed carry license has literally never been easier, so just click on that link below and join the millions of patriots who've taken back their rights and started carrying legally with Countrywide Concealed today. Rock Dog, my friend, Dr. Steve, they stole the election in Arizona last year. Absolutely stole 2020 and almost stole the midterms. And we did nothing. What do you see happening if the Uniparty steals 2024? So yes, that's very much the case that can happen. We have to go into 2024 recognizing that all the odds are stacked against us, because just like in 2016, because the Uniparty is now, it's even worse than 2016, because the Uniparty is now absolutely united in trying to stop Trump in any way they can. That's why Tucker asked him, "Are you afraid for your life?" They've tried everything, and now what if they just try to, take you out the Prigozhin way, for heaven's sake? So absolutely. But I think if they steal 2024, I think it'll be but the latest, tank invasion of the Soviets in Hungary or Poland or Czechoslovakia. that quelled the uprising for a time, but only provides the opportunity to reamass, reassemble, and come back stronger than ever. That's how the Berlin Wall fell. The Berlin Wall did not fall with one hit. It took, I mean, I love the imagery of the hammering and the chiseling away and of the Berlin Wall, because to me that is symbolic of what Eastern Europeans did and for 50 years, and what Soviet citizens, to at least a lesser extent, they were a bit more. I think they had no choice of being a bit more compliant for 70 years. They chipped and chipped and chipped and punched and punched and pushed and pushed, and every time they got pushed back, every time they got pushed, but every time they came back stronger. And it happened with the Protestant Reformation. And that's, again, the Protestant Reformation took a couple of centuries to work out fully before the Holy Roman Empire and the Roman Catholic Church in its ruling structure finally fell. It took that time. And I'm not saying I'm necessarily against, Western civilization, Holy Roman Empire. It's just an analogous political dynamic where this refeudalized system that put very few in tremendous power are being revolted against by the masses. And eventually they just fell. And same with the Soviet Union. Eventually it just fell. And eventually this is going to crumble. So even if they steal it, we're going to come back stronger than ever in 2025, in 2026, in 2027, in 2028. And then if the demographics finally kick in 2030. Eric Kaufman of the University of London argues that by 2030, conservative Christians particularly, are going to be in the majority just because of the fertility advantage we have over and against secular liberals who aren't having kids anymore. We're having more kids than ever. They're not. They're dissipating now very quickly to no more than 10 to 14% of the national population in just a few decades. So we're going to get them. It's just a matter of time. It's just how much damage can they inflict in the meantime. Thanks, Rock Dog. Excellent question.